And so now we have about 120 employees in BBC Audiobooks, and our listeners are people from people who listen through public libraries by borrowing audiobooks, who buy audiobooks in the high street in WH Smith, Waterstones, Ottakar's, and so on and so forth. And of course, download over the internet is becoming increasingly popular. And for those people that don't want to buy it that way, they can always buy it over the telephone through direct mail. And I think you should have all had something on your chairs which offers you something. So that's the advert. And I should just say that, of course, as part of BBC Worldwide, our shareholders are the BBC, and any profits that we make go back into the BBC, into programme making, to complement the licence fee. So, as publishing director, I'm responsible for commissioning the material that we publish, and it's a whole range of material that we publish. And I thought I would talk through some of the things we think about when a book comes in and how do we consider it. The first thing we think about is it something that people would want to listen to? Is it popular? Is the book already a bestseller? How well known is the author? Do we have a previous history of publishing this author, and can we look at what their sales records are? Then we consider, what would it be like to listen to it? How easily would it convert to audio? Is it first-person narrative? Is there a lot of dialogue? Are there many accents? And so on and so forth. And then we have to apply the commercial measure. Is it affordable? Will it pay its way? Can we make a margin to hand back to our owners? If it passes those tests, we decide it's something that will work on audio and it's something we want to do, we then have to go and acquire the copyright. We have to buy the rights, which is a permission to make an audio copy. So we have to get a license from the literary agent, usually. If we are successful in getting the rights for the price that we can afford, we then set about casting it. And that's when the fun really starts. Who should actually be the voice of this novel? Because everybody, when they read a novel, they have, the voice in their head. But we're actually giving it voice. So this is a critical thing. And Kate will talk about that in much more detail. Then, of course, we come to record it. And we use experienced and accomplished voice artists. And, again, the panel are going to talk about that in great detail. We publish over 400 new unabridged audiobooks a year recorded here in Bath, distributed all around the world. People often say, audiobooks, they're for the blind. In fact, it was even said to me tonight. We've found this to be actually a huge misapprehension. We've found that our listenership is much broader. And, the very simple thing is, you can listen to a book, a play, a comedy or whatever, while you're doing something else. Your hands are free to do something else, whether it's driving the car, gardening, exercising, running, walking, whatever. You can entertain your mind while listening to audiobooks. So I'm now going to hand over to Kate, who's going to talk about the production process a bit.
Indeed. I'm going to remain seated to talk about production as well. As you can hear, that's what they sound like eventually. Obviously, it takes an awful lot of work to get to that point. And what I'll do is just tell you a little bit of the behind the scenes, how we actually get there. So once they've been commissioned by Jan's team, the editorial team, they come to the studio. So we are presented every month with 24 audiobooks. To be a pile of books. The first thing we have to do is establish how long the audiobook is going to be. This is a very simple process. What we do, rather than read every book, because if you imagine if we have 24 books, we don't actually have time to get into the studio because we're reading everyone at that point in the process. They are read earlier. So what we do is we take 2 pages of narrative and 2 pages of dialogue. We take those because the pace of those two will be different, and it will give us a good overall average timing, a page timing. We then multiply that very simply by the pages in the book, and hey presto, we know how long it will be. The average for a children's book is 3 cassettes, 3 CDs, which would take a day in the recording studio. And for the adult titles, it's 8 cassettes, which is 3 days. So we now know how long we need to book the voices for. We then move on to the casting process, which is the fun stuff. Some of the books very naturally present themselves. For example, Lynn's work, absolutely natural. Lynn writes it, therefore Lynn will read it. Things like the DL and Pascoe series, we have Colin Buchanan comes and reads it. Obviously, there's the link there with the TV series. If we're casting afresh, the first thing that we will take into account is gender. Is it going to be male? Is it going to be female? And that is normally led by the central character of the book, the voice of the book.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.